Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. If you can go away on a holiday, where do you like to go to? Some people like to stay within Ireland. They like to have a staycation and go somewhere in Ireland. And I have to say, with our family, we've had some great times just taking a staycation in Ireland. Other people like to travel further afield and go to exotic destinations. But have you ever thought about taking a package holiday to North Korea? Yes, you heard me correctly. North Korea. North Korea, I don't know about you, but I think it's the last place in the world I would want to go to for any kind of holiday, let alone a package holiday. We've all heard about the regime there, about how dangerous it can be, about how poor the conditions often are, difficult conditions that people are living in, and also it's estimated to be the worst country in the world to be a Christian because of the persecution of the church there is way off the charts, worse than any other country in the world. And yet, North Korea is developing a tourist resort for people to have package holidays. Apparently it's aimed primarily at the Russian market because Russian people can't travel to a lot of countries anymore because their country has become a bit of an international pariah because of the unjustified invasion of Ukraine. And so because of that, a lot of Russian people are looking for other places they can go on holiday. And so North Korea have decided to fill that slot. Apparently, in learning how to make a holiday resort, they sent a delegation on a fact-finding trip to visit, of all places, Benidorm in Spain. Now I have to say, North Korea would be the worst place I could possibly think of to go for a package holiday, but Benidorm would be a close second. And the idea of North Koreans going to Benidorm to then build Benidorm is renowned particularly for British visitors for the tackiness of so much of the stuff that goes on there. And it really speaks about the worst of the excesses of British people when they travel overseas and what can go on in holiday resorts. And so for that then, for the North Koreans to try to make their own copy of Benidorm, again, look, everyone's opinions are different. Everybody makes different choices and have different tastes. But to me, a North Korean version of Benidorm is possibly the closest you can get to of hell on earth. And yet, that's what they are developing. They have chosen Benidorm as the model for them to develop their tourist resort in the hermit kingdom of North Korea. Who are you going to copy in your life? You see, we all have role models. We all have those that we look at and say, okay, I'm going to take that for a model of who I can be. Who are your role models that you look to? Of course, the problem with having role models is there's no such thing as a perfect role model to follow. Sometimes we've tried to pretend that there is. You know, I remember when I first got saved, I would read biographies of Christian leaders from the past. And some of those biographies, they were written by people who admired them so much that they wouldn't include a single bad thing about them. I mean, you read them and you thought, this person's absolutely perfect. And people would give me a book and say, here, read this book, this will encourage you. And it didn't encourage me. It actually discouraged me because these people all seemed so perfect. And I thought, but I can't be like that. I'm not perfect. I'm just Nick. And I've discovered that having a role model to follow, not a perfect role model, but somebody who with all their flaws loves Jesus and will follow him with all of their heart. Again, you don't copy the bad things in their life, but you do use as a role model to see how God can use even a very imperfect person. That's why many of the great figures in the Bible faithfully records their faults and their failings and their sins as well as their successes. So I would encourage you, don't copy somebody's mistakes. Don't say, oh, well, because they got away with it, I can do the same thing and get away with it. But do look at people's lives who, despite their failings and despite their downfalls, have still been able to serve Jesus and glorify Jesus. Those are the kind of role models. They're not always the people in the limelight. Sometimes it might be the people right beside you. It could be family members. It could be people in your own church. But look and find those people who, while they're not perfect, they're following God with a heart that is set to follow him and love him and worship him. And those are the kind of role models we all need in the church today. God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.